Let's talk intelligence, USA, actual intelligence versus all the British-led propaganda everybody's running with, everyone who's a lunatic, that is. And very blessed, very blessed with the latest two emails from the United States, UNSC. I'm enjoying all that. Went back through my first email, which has heavy content. And I'm a little tired this morning. I want my morning coffee, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get it yet, even though they're 24 hours. None of the drive-thrus are open. I've had a good sleep, a nice rest. I'm going to hit emails today. But, folks, I want to do this. While we're all sleeping here in the Western Hemisphere, lots going on in the Middle East. Their day's going along. Iran is hugely weakened, massively weakened. They now announce, everybody, that they won't be bombing their fellow Middle Eastern countries anymore because only if they're attacked by them, which they're not attacking them. So it really demonstrates the weakness of Iran right now, tipping their hand. They don't have the missiles, they don't have the production facilities, don't have the military infrastructure, don't have those systems in place, largely destroyed. They're now trying to focus on what little they have left directly at USA and Israel. It's having little to no real meaningful effects. First 3 days, Iran firing hard. Now, even by Iran and Middle East reporting, they're targeting their attacks are going down like this. And then they try to act like, oh, we're going to suckhole to our fellow Arab nation states. We attacked for the first 3 days hard. Now they can't. Now they have to hold back what little they have left to try and push on the USA, hold the Hormuz Canal, but they can't. And USA's not stopping. They're going to pound them into the dirt as they have no international support. They're finished. Which brings me to the British propaganda media. You'll see it with Al Jazeera News. You'll see it absolutely with BBC. You're seeing all these stories. You know where you're not really seeing the stories? In the United States of America. Left or right leaning medias aren't reporting the baloney. And I'll tell you why. So the big story we're getting around Canada in full British propaganda fashion is the idea that Donald J. Trump was hooked up with Jeffrey Epstein in the 80s. That Jeffrey Epstein and Donald J. Trump, according to an unnamed woman, who everybody is not on the Jeffrey Epstein official victims group of filers. I'm going to say it again. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, is not listed by anybody proven to be a child, an American child, in the Epstein files. Not one of them is named Donald J. Trump. Now, there is an FBI report of an unnamed woman who hasn't been substantiated, and I'm going to tell you why. Because she claims in the 80s, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald J. Trump raped her between the ages of 13 and 15. I'm going to tell you the problem here with that. According to Democrat-run FBI, in the time periods and the subsequent investigation from 2019 concluded before everybody, long before Donald J. Trump took office for a second time. Okay? So during the Joe Biden administration, the Democrat-ran FBI discounted, can't substantiate her claims, And I'm going to tell you why in the actual reports. Again, not by Republican administration run FBI, but Democrat under Joe Biden run FBI. So the reports go, in the 1980s, Jeffrey Epstein had a fake passport and a fake name. He lived in Saudi Arabia frequently under the fake name and fake passport, found in his possession by the FBI in 2019 when they raided his home in New York. They found this passport used entirely in the 80s outside of Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump never went to Saudi Arabia in the 1980s. There is no passport record of Donald J. Trump ever going to Saudi Arabia in the 1980s. Why this is important. Jeffrey Epstein, under an alias, a fake name, used his fake passport because he was a Mossad agent, MI5 agent. That's a agent for the British UK secret spy network, the UK version of CIA. Jeffrey Epstein, through the entire 80s, was under that passport, that name, living in Saudi Arabia, touring Spain, UK, all the time, Saudi Arabia and France. Story is baloney. And what it actually does is highlights the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was in fact an MI5 agent for the UK. Absolutely pedo pervert UK. Prince Andrew, a young Prince Andrew, whole royal family, all compromised. British prime ministers compromised. British everything compromised. So's Spain, so's France, and absolutely Saudi Arabia. Why? They're all part of the kingdom empires, folks. Nothing, zero to do with current president Donald J. Trump. None of the Democrat committees on this, Republican or Democrat, 50-50. And the Democrats hate Donald J. Trump. They would love to fry him. But that story is 100% false. And in fact, only corroborates that Jeffrey Epstein was an MI5 Mossad agent. And why Mossad? Because UK built Israel. The Israel of today is absolutely 100% British created. Now what's happening with Israel today? It's locked in with USA because that's its only lifeline. UK hasn't the strength as a nation since even the 80s till now, almost 46 years later, to be able to mount any kind of real international offense, let alone a system that they even had in the 80s, even though by then it was greatly weakened. UK's a joke. An evil, pathetic joke. Now, all the propaganda you're getting about Russia, same news cycles, same groups, same, Iran's going to slow down its attacks on its fellow Arab states, and only if they attack Iran. They never attacked Iran. They have no more bombs. This is British propaganda. It's all kingdom propaganda. All medias from these Arab countries, all the way traced back through Europe, all the way to the headmaster, UK. Folks, I have it in my email, and then the subsequent going through of the actual UNSC presentation, where USA goes through and says, yeah, we did the 50-50 with Ukraine. Oil, gas, critical minerals. But Russia, too, is promising all of that to the USA too. USA is shrugging off Russia giving up military positions to Iran against USA. As if that was true, it's completely ineffectual. Where's this intel coming from? These unnamed sources. The UK UNSC propaganda machine. They're in the room with USA. They're the ones manufacturing the intelligence, slamming Russia because they want to have that narrative. They want to pit USA Russia, USA China. You can see it all over Lunatic. I see it on my own friends list. People who are so institutionalized into the UK British propaganda. They really believe there's going to be a World War III, even though long before month's end, the speed bump called Iran is going to be over. And for sure by the end of March, you're going to start watching oil prices go way, way down. And in fact, depending on what happens with the incoming new Iran moderate government that will come, you might see oil prices really, really go down, bottoming out, destroying Canada's ability to have energy prosperity limitedly through what they have. And then they're begging to go to China, but at what price of a barrel will that be? Folks, this is reality. You're getting all the full brunt of British propaganda, not matched in USA intelligence. I know this for a fact. I have 2 emails over the last 72 hours directly from the United States presidency of the United Nations Security Council. You have so many losers claiming to be freedom fighters, knowledgeable about law, and all of them are outing themselves. Many of you are trying to share that. I have no time to go through it, but I've already myth busted all these people. A lot of them claim to be People's Party of Canada or Libertarian, right? They're really, in fact, the far reaches of communism merged with fascist crown. They're some of the worst of the worst because they lie about freedom in the name of heavy-handed socialism and the love of their fascist crown. They have no wanton need to get rid of that. They live in old international legal systems. They put this jargon up to try and seduce all of you. They do seduce a lot of you. A lot of you. I see it. I see it in messages as I go in this morning. And if I had the time, which I don't, I'm waiting for my morning coffee. And it's right back to emails. Because I'm really cutting edge here. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I love where I am with the United States of America. I love that the things I'm sharing, this video right now I make this morning, is 100% deadly accurate and truthful. And it completely blows up the Kingdom Empire system. Absolutely UK, which means everybody, your entire Canadian regime system, constitutionally designed to be built exactly off the United Kingdom, right in the opening introduction to your Constitution. If you think for 1 minute the United States doesn't know exactly what Canada is, I can tell you in absolute real USA intelligence that I have never seen ever in my life. Up to 72 hours ago, I've never been so warmly, openly emailed like that with that kind of detail. The kind of detail that I've ascended by reading Democrat and Republican House and Senate congressional reports that I've started about 3 weeks ago. I now get that emailed to me from the United States of America through the UNSC. Their intelligence. It is beautiful, amazing. I'm in a warm place. Very exciting indeed. I'm so happy to do this work this weekend, this morning. As soon as I can get a coffee, like I said, I don't know how, I guess they're 24-hour and I'm up early, but it's going to be a long day for me and I'm going to hit all those emails. But I want everybody to know this. USA knows all of it. They know all of it. The attacks on Trump now, America's laughing it off. And what's really funny is Democrats and their media aren't going that road anymore. They're cycling in behind the administration. Of course, there's still some lunatics, there's always going to be, but it's certainly not any kind of moral majority that infects countries like Canada, the whole of the Commonwealth, really, European Union, so many. And if you haven't read the Jeffrey Epstein 80s file on this unnamed woman who's been completely myth-busted by who? The Democrat-run FBI while Joe Biden was in office and running it. It was done really quickly, actually. There are no legitimate victims from the Epstein files, American children, claiming Donald J. Trump. Zero, zip, zilch. Except for one FBI report that claims Jeffrey Epstein and Donald J. Trump in the 80s from some unnamed woman, crazy lady. Probably an MI5 Mossad agent group who crafted this woman and created her, because it's completely myth-busted by USA intelligence, USA Homeland Security, and absolutely USA FBI. Not real, didn't happen. In fact, Mossad agent, MI5 agent for the UK, Jeffrey Epstein, was in Saudi Arabia under a different alias. It only showcases, again I'm going to say it, it only showcases UK, France, Spain, and Saudi Arabia corrupted in the 80s in an evil system of intelligence, spies, all of that trash. And then you have to wonder the media and their secret people advising them. More Mossad agents, more MI5 UK, more France Foreign Legion, more Saudi Arabia intelligence. Yeah, okay. And look at Spain today. Look what's happening with USA calling out UK and Spain. They know the lie about Russia. They know Russia's still at full steam with Ukraine. Interrupting Iran has had no effect on Russia's war against Ukraine. Ukraine is in big trouble. As of 4 hours ago, folks, Donald J. Trump, midnight, shortly thereafter, and I can tell you that in intelligence too, advised Zelensky again, make a deal with Russia, end this war. If you don't know what's happened, because again, time changes, and what time it is in Russia and Ukraine versus what we are. While we were sleeping, Ukraine got smashed hard. Kharkiv got hit hard. And Zelensky's on there, oh no. I thought, according to British intelligence, this MI5 propaganda, I thought Iran was central in the development of Russia's military systems and attacks on Ukraine. Well, Russia hasn't slowed down or skipped a beat. Now, Iran has massively, and probably within a week, USA is going to be sailing crude tankers through the Hormuz Canal. And Iran ain't going to be producing anything. So why isn't Russia slowing down? Right? Oh, because it's probably propaganda. And do you think Russia has time to be dealing with Iran and Iran's military offensive against the United States and Israel when they're on a full-scale war with Ukraine? Obviously not. This is British propaganda. This is evil kingdom, old world empire propaganda that lives inside every Canadian 24/7. Every time you grocery shop, you can look at the windows at the tills and you're faced with that as you're loading your groceries. They're already putting it in your brain. All that smut's on the stands for you to read. Keep the royal family in your brain. Keep all this stuff going. Keep you subjugated. You are heavily, heavily seduced. And you equate that with food. You equate that with food. Every time you go grocery shopping, you can't go through a window without being hammered with that. It's been going on since I was born, and all the decades before my parents were born, and my grandparents were born, and great-grandparents were born. This is what UK does. This is what your Canadian government does. And they lie at an unbelievable, epic rate that now I can quantify as just in the last 2 emails. And I'm excited. There's a third email that's not relative to Canada. I already got another one again this morning, as I'm probably going to get these all month. Maybe there's relevance to it. It doesn't look like it to me, but they're showing other things they're working on the world stage this month. And I know those programs, but to get that delivered in tremendous detail from their perspective is amazing. And it does not match anything in our media. I looked up Myanmar. There's nothing of it in the media. Not in Canada, not in US news. That's UNSC behind closed doors. Private. And it's like, wow, it's not even in the news. Can't find it anywhere at all. It's an email I got. That's US intelligence at their highest international level sending me that email. We had this meeting behind closed doors on China. China and Russia are not doing anything over Iran. As I've read and told you, every single United Nations vote, and you can look that up yourself, every resolution on Iran since 2006, Russia and China have supported. Every single one, including not this past Friday, the Friday before that, the start of Iran. So, folks, I don't know what media is trying to sell or solicit, but it's all BS in Canada, 100%. And it's very painful, actually, even people who are actual friends of mine in real life, to see them in a state they are completely broken and institutionalized by my government, who's manufacturing epic scale lies in my own country that are not matched by the United States of America, Democrat or Republican. So can you imagine what it's like to be on a House committee as a congressman or a senator in the United States, going through the legitimacy and knowing that your supposed friends around you, everything Donald Trump's been saying, our supposed friends many months ago, in fact, a year ago, coming down hard on Canada, constantly up and down with UK and then having to smash UK. Can you imagine they've been doing these reports for years? Can you imagine as an American in leadership like that, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, and learning that your supposed friends have been working against you, hate you, and are trying to usurp you? They're friend because they're weak. They lie right to your face while they give you a hug, they jab the dagger right in the back of your neck. Can you imagine what that's like to be an American congressperson or senator? Can you imagine what that's like being on those committees and having to go through that year after year for many years, some of them. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable and rotten. It's rotten. It's shameful to be Canadian. It really is. And I look at the media and I look at the news. I look at family and friends. Not really immediate family. Most of mine's pretty educated through me. But, absolutely close friends, like family. I'll say that. And it's like, wow. Like, you're deliriously being led into absolute 100% propaganda. Like, you're institutionalized like a programmed, victim. And that's a weak-minded person. That says you're so weak-minded. And I'm lucky I'm strong. I'm God-blessed to be strong, I guess. And it's self-taught that things didn't seem right. And I always revert back to Malcolm X, my probably favorite civil rights champion in all world history, because his growth from nothing, literally from prison, and it's something personal to me, where my growth journey started from getting out of prison, honestly, where you're so down and beaten by the system that this makes absolutely no sense. How could this possibly be real? Is this really what it is? This country's very wrong. Something I've always thought I knew about my country is deadly wrong. And I remember getting out of jail and thinking, while incarcerated that time, just thinking and thinking, going through your mind, how is this possible? Living with the reality, and then knowing that what I thought of my country or was raised to believe is complete fiction. And then going on the journey I've gone and where I am today is amazing for an average everyday person. And that was the journey that was the same for Malcolm X. That's why everything I've read of him and his journey in the 60s all the way through, 40s really to 60s, but to see where he evolved, self-taught, and how strong he got much stronger than me, very more well articulate. And remember, he was a gangster jailbird, and went from that to an epic level of understanding, coming back to the United States from Mecca with even so much more growth. No internet back then. You had to actually physically go to these places. You had to physically do this research. And he did that, boots on the ground, came back epically changed, evolved as he evolved throughout, learning the truth of the left, the right, the bullshit of it, and coming back with the love of America in the end, a full circle journey and an understanding of the Founding Fathers, what America could be, and then he was killed for it. He was wasted at an epic public rate, unimaginable, by haters from his own race, really, who couldn't handle that truth that he learned literally 66 years ago, and he was crucified brutally, publicly, for it. But his example lives on, and it's for all of us, really. It's absolutely for me and where I am today. So God bless everybody. I see the windows open for coffee. One guy went through it. So I'm going to go get my coffee, and it's back to emails. This video will pick up later today. It is epic and huge. All Americans, I talked to an American early last night. Like, I was in bed before 8 o'clock. I'm like, I'm just going to have a little power nap, and then boom, slept right through, which is a good thing. But I'm going to hit her hard now, have my coffee, and start the email up. But I talked to an American last night, and he went through all of this. Many Americans are. You should notice comments. Americans are chiming in, especially what I released on Kristi Noem and the replacement for her when I got into Mullins, Senator Mullins. That's all true. And if you haven't noticed the comments, it's Americans, and an American right from his Oklahoma district. And he goes, this guy's telling you 100% truth about Mullins and what he's all about. They know, they're from Oklahoma. That's how cool it is. That's how much reach I have. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to have so many Americans come forward and stand up without any fear. They just stand up strong. And I love that you all support me. And from all over, like, look at that, Oklahoma, just stand up strong for you. And I wish, I will make the Oklahoma journey. I'm saving it for my wraparound USA. It's part of, I'll finish my last 3, what I call Indian states of the Union. And of course, the Outer Rim, West, East, and Gulf of America. And then I'm pretty much done USA, 48 out of 50 states. And then I just have Hawaii and Alaska after that. And I'll have completed my entire journey of the United States. But that's my video this morning. You can tell I need a coffee. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to get to email. Love you all. Share, get it out there. It'll pick up today. I know it's super early. God bless. I know. Oh, it's a beautiful day today, too, here in the GTA. T-shirt, yeah, raining, almost all the snow going to be gone. I would imagine a lot of it gone by the end of the day. It's going to be plus 20 here today, supposedly. So I'm ready for it. Okay, love you all. Bye now. God bless.